Senator Wilson, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. Wearing my lawyer hat. When I presented a case in the courts, and I had a very high success rate, I might add, and primarily because it was always based on facts. In order, excuse me, in order to operate within the law and presenting a case before the court, one had to present their case on fact. The fiction would have been discarded by the jury, and a verdict of not guilty or guilty, depending on whose side you are on, would follow. But my point is that it's all based on facts. And in order for me to present the facts to the court, or the evidence to the court, then I had to also rely on the evidence that was gathered, normally by the police and so forth, during the course of their investigations. So therefore, the police would provide information, and if information came, and normally admittingly I was a defense counsel, but if the information came from the police during the course of their investigation and it was somewhat spurious and suggested that this was a source of a source, then that would be something that I would use to challenge the validity of the evidence, the fact, so to speak. And the investigative part is very, very crucial. And in fact, particularly when you're speaking about a situation of someone's loss of liberties, then you have to rely on the facts that are presented based on the investigation, because of course it's a very serious penalty if a person is convicted. So the point I'm making, Madam President, is that in any court of law or a court of public opinion, you have to basically rely on facts supported by the evidence, and that is normally generated by an investigation. And here we have a situation where apparently none of that existed. We have a statement made by the opposition that government failed to pay cost thousands of civil servants' dental insurance coverage. That statement has been proven false by BF&M. We have a statement by the opposition saying that government fell more than 90 days behind in premium payments to the insurer. Again, that statement has been proven false by BF&M. We have a statement by the opposition saying GEHI premiums, we have another statement by the opposition saying that the dental insurance coverage for government employees has been suspended because the government has failed to pay the premium of their coverage. Again, Madam President, we have heard from BF&M that that statement has proven to be false. We have a statement from the president of BF&M indicating GEHI premiums are paid up to date and that payments were made to BF&M within 30 days of being billed. That is the fact. So we have misstatements that are coming out from the opposition, and during the course of the investigation, we have a statement that has proven to be the factual statement based on the president of BF&M. Now, a jury, no doubt, and I'm talking only 12 people, and no doubt the public have also reached the similar conclusions. They have to ask themselves, I have this information that's being presented that is not factual, that is based on sources, but then I have an investigation that has concluded that the BF&M, as in this case, have indicated that all those statements that have been said are false. I would probably walk away with a happy client because my client would not be convicted, because the case that's been presented by the opposition has been false, primarily because they didn't do any investigation. They simply relied on some, I'm not going to say spurious false sources, but they just relied on sources. No doubt, had they done a proper investigation and spoken to not just somebody on the side from BF&M, but perhaps even the president himself, because no doubt, I'm saying President CEO John White would have been able to provide the information that he provided to the government to confirm that these three statements are mistruths and are not factual. But we have the factual basis. And I'm not necessarily going to get caught up in whether or not the opposition apologized for deliberately misleading the public. What I would want them to do, but again, I'm not going to hold my breath, is for them to apologize for utilizing information about civil servants, their private information concerning this issue with respect to the premiums. Private information, private confidential information. And I don't know what other information they have. And as Senator Burt indicated, we don't know what's been redacted. When you see what was printed in the Royal Gazette yesterday from these alleged claims of individuals and their coverage, I mean, I know that they say this is silly season. And I have to admit, I'm just absolutely appalled that we would have an opposition. I'm actually more disappointed, I have to say, in the leader of the opposition because of the statements that he's made insofar as integrity and so forth. But needless to say, that's between him and Senator Dunkley. However, the fact that we have information that has been deliberately put in the public domain about persons that are civil servants, about their own personal information, and that the information that's in the public domain has been refuted by BF&M. So they basically, I'm not going to say a lie, but BF&M has said, no, that's not true. That's not factual. So BF&M have come out and said that. So the fact that the One Bermuda Alliance doesn't wish to apologize, that's neither here nor there, quite frankly, because I'm sure that the members of the public, when they read through this, can make their own decision and their own assessment of the situation, because no doubt the members of the public will rely on fact. And it's actually somewhat offensive to think that members of the public would hear this information and then and for the opposition to think that they would believe it when they may have the CEO, Mr. White, saying this is not correct. But that's okay, because an apology is not necessary, because I have confidence in the Bermudian public, and I have confidence that they will wade through the information and recognize that it is fictional and a mistruth. I have to say that I recognize that we are in a political season. I'm glad that Senator Dunkley did make some comments, because admittingly I was a little bit disturbed that right out of the blocks during the motion to adjourn, he sends my fellow female senator out here to do his dirty work, so to speak. Reading from a prepared note, I'm not sure who prepared it, but needless to say, that was something that I found somewhat offensive. But I have a lot of respect for Senator Daniels, and he's hired her out to do his dirty work in his speaking, but he's tried to rectify what he said and so forth, and that's neither here nor there. However, again, reading from the facts, we've got...
Point of order, please, Madam President.
Certainly, Senator Daniels.
Just for clarity, I haven't been hired out or manipulated or suggested even to speak on behalf of the One Bermuda Alliance or my colleague. Just that point of clarification. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Daniels. Senator Wilson?
I certainly was not trying to be offensive in those comments. I'm just going by my observations, and by no means was I intending to be offensive, and I'm glad that that has been rectified. However, the issues concerning, I don't want to detract from the main issue, and the main issue is that the facts are the facts, and that the information that's been put out by the opposition party concerning this whole matter with respect to the GEHI dental payments has been answered by BF&N, and they have said that this information is inaccurate. Whether or not the opposition party wished to issue an apology to the people of Bermuda, I don't think is that significant, because I think the people of the Bermuda can read the tea leaves. They can see the information. They can see, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. So the people of the Bermuda, beware, because you will no doubt see more information that's coming out in the public domain. That is not correct. That will be led by the opposition party, and you just wait until the factual aspects come out before you absorb everything that you see. So, Madam President, in that regard, I don't know if there's anything else more that I can answer. I'm so much still surprised that we would have found ourselves in this day where we're relying on confidential information. Confidential information. of civil servants only to attempt to gain some type of political mileage. What next?
Thank you, Senator Wilson. Thank you, Senator.